Hey guys, I hope you had a really wonderful Easter or Passover. I certainly did. I know it's really hard when you're reaching out to your friends and family via FaceTime, or if you're a little bit older, maybe Skype. But I had an absolutely wonderful Easter. I celebrated with a pizza with ham and pineapple, so it was very traditional. So I'm here to celebrate this wonderful wine with you. It is Guado al Melo, Bacco in Toscana, Bom Ba Ba Ba. So it's really delicious. It's a Toscana Rosso IGT 2018 vintage. And what's really cool about this wine is it has a phenomenal backstory. So I'm going to start off by kind of bringing it back to the 17th century. There was a poet named Francesco Redi, and he wrote this poem, Bacco in Toscana, about Bacco or Dionysus or Bacchus, the god of wine, and how he chose to celebrate his homeland of Tuscany based on how absolutely delicious the wine was there. And he wrote this poem in the 17th century and just kind of talking about how fabulous Tuscan wine is. And if you are an Italian wine nerd like me, you know absolutely how true that is. Bacco in Toscana is the name of the poem, and then the Bom Ba 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 is a name of a song and a dance that Bacco sings and dances with his wife and some woodland creatures and all of the villagers in Tuscany. So hopefully, after a glass or two of this wine, you will be singing and dancing the Bom Ba 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 as well. So I actually have a little piece of the poem, Bacco in Toscana, to read out loud for you today. So please excuse my rough translation, but this is Francesco Redi. From the hill before us, let the villagers rise over us, clappings to our chorus and all around resound, talabalas, tambourines and horns, pipes and bagpipes and the things you know, boys, that cry out, ho boys, while 100 kits above their ears and 100 rustic forsters strum as they ought to do the dabadoo and sing and dance with us the Bom Ba Ba Ba. So there's a little bit of rustic Italian 17th century poetry for you. And now on to the wine. Fabulous. So this wine right here is a 2018 Super Tuscan. So a lot of people ask me, oh, you know, if a wine says IGT instead of DOC or DOCG, doesn't that mean that it's inherently less of a good wine because it doesn't come from a specific region? And I always like to counter that that is not true at all. So some of the most famous, rare, and expensive wines, such as Sassicaia, are actually Toscana IGTs as well. And all that means is that it does not come from Chianti, it does not come from Brunello in Tuscany. It comes from all over. Specifically the Bolgheri coast, and right underneath the Bolgheri coast is where Bacco in Toscana was from. And Bolgheri coast is actually where Sassicaia, Tignanello, all of these really rare, fabulous wines are from. And it's kind of this perfect growing region for wine because it has this wonderful Mediterranean climate, diurnal shifts, which means really warm days and really cool nights. And it has this very sandy, alluvial clay soil that allows the rainwater to kind of seep right through, but it's porous enough so that the grapes can take exactly how much water they need to be really big, really fleshy, and really ripe. And that's very important when you are not necessarily growing native Italian grapes like Sangiovese, but you're bringing in French grapes, which is a trademark of Super Tuscans. So mainly Bordeaux varietals, so Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, Petit Verdot, or Merlot. But it can also be other French varietals as well. And this wine is actually 70 or 60% Syrah and 40% Sangiovese. So looking at this wine, the first thing that I'm telling you is that it is super pigmented. So this is normally a quality of Syrah, but this is a deep, deep, deep purple ruby, really deep in color wine. As I'm swirling it around, it's staining the glass. So it's got a high concentration, high pigmentation. And I can honestly smell it from here. I don't even need to stick my nose in it, but I will anyway. So it's a super fresh wine. Oh my gosh, black fruits for days. So this is fresh, crushed blackberries right in my nose. So blackberry, black cherry, black plum, black currants, super, super black fruit forward. And there's also this note of crushed black pepper, which is really common for Syrah or Shiraz. And another thing I'm noticing right off the bat is there's this little tiny bit of bacon fat in the wine. Not actually, but it kind of smells like bacon. And that's also another trademark of Syrah or Shiraz. And this all makes it a really wonderful pairing with food as well. Definitely looking at this over a white countertop. This is a heavy, heavy color, super high concentration. I can't really see any difference between my fingers. Great nose, I can smell it from here. It's really opening up. I probably opened this about 30 minutes before this began, just to give it some time to hang out. It's a 2018, so it's only been in the bottle. You know, it's only been around for about 2 years, but with a fresh wine, it's still pretty good to let it hang out for a while. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a sip. Oh, this is delicious. So the first thing I'm noticing is it's very tannic. Tannin, as I've talked about before, is the residual stem, skins, seeds of the grape. So when you have the grape must, and it's all the grapes hanging out together after they've been picked, and when you press it down and that residual texture that's in the grape juice sticks to your mouth, it literally sticks to the insides of your cheeks and your tongue and kind of makes you pucker, that is tannin. However, you can also get tannin from oak or from wood. I am not sure if this was aged in French oak barrels or Slovenian oak barrels, but this wine does have a fair amount of tannins from oak as well. They're a little bit softer and more integrated. And you can kind of feel that right in the front of your palate. So right underneath your tongue, underneath your front lips, that's where you get a lot of the tannin and structure from the oak, as opposed to on the cheeks and kind of in the back of your throat, where you get the residual tannin from the grapes. It's very structured and very smooth. I really enjoy this wine. I'm confirming all the fruits that I saw on the nose as well. So again, super black fruit forward, maybe more black cherry. And I also have a little bit of the Simon and Garfunkel effect in this wine too. So parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, very dried, herbaceous notes. This wine, very common in wines from Tuscany, which will also make it a very great pairing with food. Super delicious, super well structured. Yum. Now this wine would go very well with lots of items on our carry-out menu. Because this wine is a really big, bold, fruity wine with a lot of tannin and structure, it needs a little bit of food, particularly maybe some meat to go along with it. In particular, anything that's a little bit fatty that can kind of soak up that tannin and make it a smoother, more fulfilled experience in your mouth. I've recommended this before, but either the Bistecca Macchiato, which is a delicious espresso rub steak, or our Iberica Pork Pluma, which is the cut of the neck of the pork, which is really fatty and really delicious. Both are available on our carry-out menu, along with some of our heavier pastas. So our pappardelle bolognese would be an excellent pair with this wine. So if you like, you should come and grab a bottle of this Bacco in Toscana Bom Ba 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 for only $15 to pick up with your carry-out meal. And hopefully with a glass or two, you will be singing and dancing the Bom Ba 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 with me and with Bacco as well. So cheers, enjoy your carry-out.